All right. Looks like we got a really good group here on Zoom, and hopefully we get a good amount of people coming on Facebook. This is very exciting. This is really big moment for our family, and some of which are actually on here on this live. So glad to have you all. And yeah, it's just been an incredible journey up to this point. As some of you might have heard it, I mean, or seen my posts. This has been like 7 years in the making. Have to thank Matt Powers. This is actually part of my advanced certification project, and he's helped me along all the way and all the inspiration and helped many of us step into being citizen scientists. And this is, in a way, one of my biggest passions I'm finding out is like social sciences. So I'm really loving to connect with people, and that's what this platform is about. Um, and I'm excited to share everything. I'm actually going to go ahead and share my screen so I can show you guys my presentation I've been working on. Here's a fun little, and actually, I'm wondering what you guys can see here. Is my screen blocking? Okay,
It's good.
it's good. Okay, good. All right, so I'll just take that down. All right, so this is the introduction of Roots and Culture. I like to call it as, this as a platform for crowdfunding the regenerative economy. We're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff, which we'll be getting into all the details, and you guys might have gotten some hints from hopefully my our future presentation and everything I've been posting recently. So here's just like a basic overview. We'll get into what I call box culture and our transition into roots culture, which is what I invite you all to do. We'll get into a little bit of who I am. We'll get into my book and online course that I'm creating called Roots Create Culture, which is also the name of the domain for our website, rootscreateculture.com. We'll get into some of the things that's part of what I'll be doing for this online community, including filming a series of a docu-series on all the success stories of our region and beyond. And then we'll get into the fun part of like how we can all collaborate on this experience together through the multi-vendor marketplace, our donation-based virtual stage, and building the Regenerative Fund and what comes next. So to explain a little bit about box culture, as you can see, every direction in life, everywhere we go, things have gotten a little bit grim in some areas, and it's displaced what once was built. Cultures that were once built on reciprocity, honor, and what I saw as absolute abundance, especially compared to what we have now, and all of that's been displaced, uprooted, and it's put into what I call this box culture. I almost like to look at it like a plant being uprooted and put it into a plastic pot, if you would. And in this time, we've all been disconnected from our ancestral cultural roots and been given this anthropocentric culture and environment that lacks true freedom and abundance and especially beauty, all in this name of progress or capitalism. But I don't believe capitalism is the issue and not even consumerism. I do believe that we can step back into our reciprocal ways and honorable, you know, like what, Robin Wall Kimmerer writes in her book, the braiding sweetgrass as the honorable harvest. I believe we can get back to those ways, even in our modern times. And many of us in permaculture and regenerative agriculture have experienced this and know the abundance that can come out of that. I really like to dig into indigenous ancestral wisdom. I'm actually part Blackfoot and mostly Irish and Scot. Um, but I've been really, really admiring especially the last decade, the indigenous wisdom that's been passed down to me and all of us that have dug into it. In the Seven Fire Prophecy, it was prophesied that we'd be giving a choice of two paths, one that is abundant and green for all of mankind, or one that is scorched and burned. And I believe that time is now for us to make a choice. And we can either stay in this box, as box culture, as I call it, keeping our roots bound in this, like I say, it's kind of like grim times, and I think we can turn it around. But we got to make a choice. We got to free ourselves from these limitations and tap into different ways of living and looking at the world and find out what our holistic context is and what we really want out of this life. And I like to invite people into this three-step approach I've created and tap into establish roots, create abundance, and spread culture. And tap into a culture that's honorable, abundant, and built with reciprocity for all our kin onward into the future. And I know for sure I've made my choice. And throughout this presentation, I hope that you guys get inspired. And I do invite you to join this collaborative effort for us all to step into this. But before we go, I might as well explain who am I. My name is Sean Stanton. I'm a father, husband, gardener, and musician, oh, and regenerative entrepreneur. Over the last 10 years, I've been privileged to design and build 10 permaculture farms from the ground up, all all along the way helping hundreds of people. And throughout my journey, I've discovered many insights, and there's been many stories shared with me that have shown a path towards creating a life and legacy of honor and abundance. I've been, I've built farms anywhere in like urban setting, anywhere from like an eighth of an acre up to 34 acres in rural areas. A lot of communal projects. You can see in that picture is actually me. I believe I was only like 21 or 22 at the time. I had just taken my PDC in 2014. So this was probably 2016 or 2017 maybe. So 23, I was probably 23 years old. I was a young father, I just become a young father. It's really what inspired me to step into this life. I definitely saw the world and where it was going, and I didn't care for the way things were. And it honestly gave me a lot of anxiety. And that was until I picked up the Permaculture Designer's Manual by Bill Mollison and skipped through all that and just had an immense feeling of gratitude. And, honestly, it lit my soul up. I was, inspired by everything I was seeing in that book. And really, I just saw a bunch of solutions to all the problems we were facing. And what's behind me is actually one of the urban farms I got to help in development with Antioch urban growers, where actually I met my wife. Funny enough, I actually met her with my oldest son's mother, who were long separated now. But at the time, I was engaged to get married, and I had met my future wife right there in Antioch urban growers. A funny story there, but. I got to gain a lot of experience through market gardening production, and education, teaching workshops, and managing a nursery. And this farm is actually one of three on one block that I was living on. As soon as I took my PDC, I went, full bore and started building farms everywhere I could, and neighbors caught on. And so I've been building compost and building beds for a long time. I can feel it in my bones. But now, as I said, I got to meet my wife, my future wife at Antioch Urban Growers years later. Through a lot of but before that, I went through a lot of hardship and kind of regained my center and got focused on life again after a lot of hardship, as I said. And we got together and things just really took off. We built, I think 4 or 5 more farms together. A lot of really good experiences there. But now we're actually building the homestead of our dreams here in the Ozarks of Missouri. We're building a village model, planning for the future. We plan on giving all of this to our children. And all of our neighbors' children and stuff. Like I said, it's a village model, so we're trying to build up a generational model here. We're currently cultivating spaces to reconnect with land and community, and overall our sense of purpose and joy. I think that's been far too long since I've got to experience that, just working my days away, trying to make a living. Um, and so we're going to be bringing that back, all that joy that and sense of purpose that we can through our community, inviting people to farm to table events and free workshops for everyone to come and join and learn what we've done. Uh, as it is overall, it is my goal to become a full-time farmer, citizen scientist, which I believe will fully empower me to live my fullest self-expression in art, literature, music, nutrition, land stewardship, and overall just caring for my family, enjoying my family. I mean, they're my absolute greatest gift. I do all of this for them, and it is my goal to get home and raise these boys right, and show them a world that is truly beautiful, and you know give them a sense of purpose so that they can live in reciprocity for everything they've been given. And I believe it all starts with a gift, and so this is what we aim to give them. And just like they gave me the greatest life I could possibly ever ask for. And all along the way, we're going to be utilizing regenerative and best practices to grow our food. We're going to be growing it for our local community through CSA, of course, feeding our family and neighbors in our village here. We plan on documenting it all along the way, freely sharing everything we find to our online community through some really creative things. I had mentioned the docu-series, of course, my book. Gonna have an online course to have some like really, how-to actionable items that I think will really help people on their journey, and hopefully a lot of really good inspiration. That's, through what we call edutainment, and we'll get onto that more here in a little bit. Just a little brief introduction. I will actually have a webinar to go over what my book is going to be all about. But the book will be titled Roots Create Culture. It will actually be free as well as the online course in the digital format. I will be having pre-sales available soon, but what it's about, oh, and what this is going to be for. So alongside our efforts here at home, this book will cover all the insights, wisdom, and love that I have found over all the years within permaculture, holistic management, regenerative agriculture, village and generational living, regenerative entrepreneurship, citizen scientists, and really important to me is the ancestral indigenous wisdom that we've all lost. And I hope to invite all of the storytellers and elders that we currently have access to share with me their insights. And I hope we can bring this to the online platform and in a lot of fun and creative ways. Um, and like I mentioned before, I'll be creating an online course to accompany this book. Like I said, both will be free to everyone in the digital format. I want everything I do to be free, and also all the experiences to be voluntary for everyone to join in. I think this is a really great way to provide inspiration, education, and overall empowerment for all of our journeys to this honorable and abundant future that we all deserve, especially our children. To explain a little bit about filming the docu-series, so alongside, um, oh, it looks like I actually forgot to write this bit here, but I'll just explain what I'll be doing with this docu-series. Something I like will reference in my book. I call it the regenerative food circle. And in agriculture, that kind of looks like, a localized economy, which is like in agriculture, it's about like a 300-mile radius where farmers can bring food to their local economy. And I aim to do a docu-series to highlight all of the success stories in our regenerative circle here from our home in Ozarks, and all of the value and stuff that people have brought to me in my life and networks and stuff, and including our story here at our family farm and community. There's some amazing community initiatives here in Springfield, like including Springfield Community Gardens, the KC Farm School at Gibbs Road. Um, I do want to feature even chefs and their journey back to honorable harvest and wild forage goods. And I have a good friend here in Springfield, Dylan Dale. He just started a company called Wild Foods by Dylan. And this picture is actually a good two-in-one. There's another good community farm, one of the largest CSA farms in America, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But that's a Millsap Farm, and they have amazing community events and pizza parties, and out of their own cob ovens, and have their whole family, like they have like 10. I actually don't know how many. They have a lot of children, some that which they've adopted, and children from the community. They have them working on those pizza nights, creating delicious pizzas for the community. It's a lot of fun, live music and everything. Of course, I want to highlight Sun and Bloom Farms. They actually were highlighted in our future as well. They're good friends of ours. They're kind of like our neighbors here in Lebanon, Missouri, only an hour north of us. They've done an amazing job creating a village model as well here in the Ozarks of Missouri. So regenerative farm and everything like that. And of course, where my roots really began with Antioch Urban Growers. I got much love for them. It's like I said, it's where I met my wife. It's where I've learned everything, gained all my experience on how to be in community and how to really learn how to communicate in an effective way. And it's just they've really brought a lot of love in my life, and they're doing amazing things. I mean, they're even housing homeless and teaching the youth. And actually, my wife was the one that brought that program to them, getting kids to come learn how to garden and get their hands in the dirt and such. And it's been an incredible journey, getting to meet a lot of, and this is just a sort of a very small glimpse of all of the success stories I have in our area, and I aim to highlight in our docu-series. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. I really hope to get to that this year. And I want to bring all of this, include, like I said, my book, online course, and all of these docu-series freely available to our online community, um, which is actually kind of like just like any social media platform. And with all of these issues we're facing, just like TikTok just being banned and shut down, and actually I guess it's up today, so I don't know what's going on with that, but I wanted to create a platform just like any social media, to create a safe space for us to share our stories, insights, successes, and lessons learned in a non-censored, non-algorithmic format. And over the time, just showing us a timeline of all the abundance created out of this cultural reemergence, or as my good friend Gavin Mounsey would say, creating biocultural refugia. And this again is free for everyone to join, and I invite all of you to go sign up and get on there and start sharing. We have an app as well. I plan on developing a more user-friendly app, but it does come free with my web development website. So that's pretty cool. But here's like where it gets really fun. And this is where, I think we can all really work together to start making a really big difference in the world. Actually, it was my advanced certificate. This is where I got my advanced certification with Matt Powers, with something that was once called the Permaculture Education Center. Long time gone. Uh, there's a whole story there. I won't get into it, but what I got certified for was the multi-vendor marketplace, where I wanted to really feature all of these regenerative entrepreneurs' products, whether they're books or solution products or seeds or possibly even produce for people to, we have options to have like a pickup local, option only on the marketplace. So maybe we can even feature farm CSAs or CSA boxes. And this marketplace is in an effort to support struggling and even thriving small and large businesses, artists, authors, and vendors of all kinds. This marketplace is created so that they can voluntarily add their products, goods, and services at a markup price of their own choice. All of the commissions that we gain from that markup will go directly to support our efforts in building the Regenerative Fund, which we'll get more on that later. That's going to be the key point of bringing all of this together in reciprocity and giving to the next generation. And I believe this is a great way to share our handcrafted and honorably sourced giftings to the world in a reciprocal way. Like I said, giving to the next generation, further building this regenerative economy we've all been talking about for a long time now. And And this is more of a recent development, and honestly, it's really pulled my heartstrings in such beautiful ways, and I'm so excited to get to this point and sharing with you all and inviting you. Um, and I just to me this was like the most creative idea I feel like I've ever had, and it's really quite simple. So it's a donation-based virtual stage. So alongside this multi-vendor marketplace. This virtual stage is created in an effort to support artists, musicians, speakers, and educators of all kinds. We can have speakers and performers stream live or even have pre-recorded performances and workshops to promote their art, music, business services, or even products in the marketplace. We can even, we have a really cool software to it's called OBS where we can actually stream live and I can queue up different performers and in between we can have commercials and we can have all of these creators have commercials to promote their products, goods and services and the regenerative marketplace. And out of this virtual stage, or which is actually it's called the Gathering Grounds, which I've created a page, very music festival inspired, as you can see even on the screen. It was at a music festival we recently played at, and that's Mike Love on the stage, one of my favorite artists. So I'm very music festival inspired. I wanted to have a stage where we can all gather, view these live performances and workshops, even have highlights from the regenerative marketplace. And from these performances and having all our artists and speakers and performers gather all of their following to this platform and aim to gather donations, which 50% of the donations would go directly to support these speakers and performers, while the other 50% will go directly to supporting our efforts in building the Regenerative Fund. And eventually, 100% of all proceeds that we gain on this platform will go to build this Regenerative Fund, which, like I said, we'll get to here in just a minute or right now. Sorry, didn't realize it was the next slide. So this is actually a big one. This is where it all leads to. This is where we could build the regenerative economy even further. Through all of our collective efforts, this will be an ongoing crowdfunding effort with for everyone involved. Um, we're going to be this year, as soon as possible, we're going to be creating a nonprofit trust foundation to carry all the funds that will be used to provide grants and scholarships to start up and or enhance family and community scale regenerative farms, citizen science projects and research, and indigenous led projects and initiatives everywhere. And again, and like even this morning, I mean, I get so many messages every week from people, especially from people from Africa and really all over the world, asking for money for all of the like sort of devastating and detrimental situations they might be in. And I've found myself in most of my adult life in a sort of detrimental state. I mean, I am a very resilient human being. Like I've been able to just provide for my family as a single income for over 10 years. And it's been challenging. And I see this amongst all of our people here. And I just want to support everyone everywhere. And, everyone's asking for support. And I just believe this is a really good way for us to start collaborating on that. So all of the funds will be generated through the entire community of people involved, through all the donations generated on these workshops, performances, and commissions from the multi-vendor marketplace, and of course, donations from all the generous individuals willing to contribute to this mission. We have a donation page set up just for that. And we also have one set up on the Gathering Grounds page that people can list who they're going to honor that donation to. And that way we can keep it all tracked and accountable, and so I can get the money to the right place. And so, like, what's next? We're just getting started. We just launched last Sunday, so we're a week in. I've been networking nonstop. Many of you that are on here, I've actually already spoke to, and we're aiming to get our schedules filled and everything for the live performances and stuff on our virtual stage. But ultimately, what I'm doing is I'm working to crowdfund all my efforts so that I can transition from this highly demanding HVAC business that my twin brother, and I run. I want to get onto this full time so I can finish writing my book, film this free online course, begin the docu-series touring in our regenerative circle here, and overall just managing operations to make this as smooth as possible. There's going to be a lot of production effort in all of this. We are, as of now, beginning to schedule workshops and performances, filling the marketplace, and sharing on the social platform. Everything's ready to go for us to start contributing. I've created yeah, and as of this morning, I wasn't sure I was going to do this. I wanted everything to be voluntary and donation based and everything, but I wanted to give a sort of meaningful and creative way to have more of an ongoing support from our community. So I modeled many of the entrepreneurs I follow, and I created a subscription based option similar to like Patreon to gain the monthly support and so that I can reciprocate what I can to those individuals. And we'll be having weekly live Q&As, and we can have for our highest tier, we can have one-on-one masterminds to help you on your journey as a regenerative entrepreneur or just beginning gardener, farmer, or maybe you just want to transform your lifestyle. I have a lot of help in those arenas, and so I created a subscription-based option to, if you guys are wanting to support us monthly. This year we hope to, as soon as possible. I said by June or July of this year, hopefully sooner than that, but that's really the reality of it. I want to have the Trust Foundation developed as soon as possible, have a team to further develop and promote this mission. Next year, we aim to have our first annual music and arts festival, where we'll premiere the docu-series from our regenerative food circle. That'll be late spring. I'm kind of aiming towards May. It's usually a good time, and we actually have festival grounds and even a festival, management company we've worked with for over 10 years. A lot of really good community there, and I really want to bring all of this to that community that's inspired me all of this time. We'll be, and as soon as possible, I want to start giving money back to the community, providing grants and scholarships. And as soon as we can, like I've developed everything that you'll see on our website by myself. It's been an incredible effort, hard effort. It's taken me years to develop, but I want to further develop a mobile app and even an app on TV so people can stream the performances and workshops on their TV and maybe even shop on the marketplace on their phone all simultaneously. So some really cool techie ideas and a lot more to share there as far as creative ways to utilize this platform. And so there's a lot more coming. And that was it for that presentation. But I do want to get on here and show you guys my website. You guys saw that little snake-looking rainbow snake thing. I wanted to kind of go through that with you. It's kind of fun, and it'll kind of show you the timeline of what we're looking at here with Roots and Culture. Yeah, so here's the website. You can hop on here, join the newsletter. I'm going to be getting on there and sharing multiple times a week, no more than 2 to 3 times. I don't want to spam your guys' email, but I do want to give as much value as I can. I'll be writing blogs and stuff and inviting blog writers to come on too to share their insights. Gavin, I'm talking to you. So here's the website. Here's a little description, but this is mainly what I wanted to show you, which is our timeline, which I thought was pretty creative. So here we are, January. We launched the online community, our edutainment program, as I call it, our regenerative marketplace, and also the gathering grounds, which was what the edutainment program will have a weekly list of performers and workshop, educators on a weekly edutainment program. We're beginning to crowdfund and get this thing rolling. I'm hoping, by the end of next month, we can maybe get enough money for me to, I'm not looking for a bunch of money up front. I know this is going to be an ongoing campaign, but I'm hoping that I can at least get enough to transition from our HVAC business to start really focusing on all of this, writing my book, getting the course started. And of course, I just like Matt has taught us, I want it to all be peer reviewed and edited. Hopefully, someone might want to step in and help me. I don't want to use AI or anything. I've considered it. There's all these awesome AI programs like Grammarly and all that. And like I said, I've been by myself, so it's been an intriguing idea to have an automated program help me on all that. But I want it to, just come from my heart and the heart of others and make it as real as possible. So yeah, and also along, like we're starting now, we're getting ready for all our gardens, our market production, and uh, it says begin headquarter improvements, which February is a little early, so that needs to be edited. But as in June, I want to get the book, and I have a lot of my book already kind of in bits and pieces all over, so I don't think it's going to take me too long to write the book, to finish writing it. I want to have all the core content for the online course completed by June. Hopefully, have all the physical book pre-orders at least ready for shipping, if not shipped out in June or even July of this year. And once I have enough of the core content, we'll actually have a live annual course where we will meet weekly for 3 months. And it'll be free for everyone to join on these weekly calls to go along the course. We'll have in July, hopefully, we'll be really bumping crops and all the beauty and all the colors here in the Ozarks, and I'll be getting all the content ready with all of the improvements made on our land here. Like I was mentioning earlier, I hope to have the trust formed and for the regenerative grant program to carry that. And throughout this summer and especially through July and August where crops are really bumping and farmers are really working hard to keep everything going. So I'm going to come at the busiest time. I know, I apologize, but it's really where it's going to be the most beautiful. Where I'll come and film on site of all of these success stories I was mentioning earlier. And with our team, with the Trust Foundation formed, we'll begin um, the planning phase for 2026 and all the enhancements of this platform and everything. We'll talk about all that. Like I said, I hope to have a full team established by then. I'm not burnt out, but I am tired of doing it alone. This whole thing is an effort to invite you all in. My doors are open. Just like I say, everyone, like about my garden, everyone's invited to my garden, but not everyone stays. And typically I'm referring to plants, but life is a garden, so don't dig it or dig it. Um, and so next year, I know that I do plan on starting earlier with our live course, starting in January. So like I said, it'll be a 3 month, so it'll be like January, February, and March, getting everyone ready to start tapping into this new emerging culture we're building together. We'll have a lot of new course material with more speakers and educators, similar to like what we see at Matt Power's course at the Advanced Permaculture Student Online. I want to invite all of you speakers and educators to contribute to this online course. It'll help promote your work and hopefully have products and services in the marketplace. And we'll be start leaking sneak peeks to the docu-series starting January of next year. And as I was mentioning earlier, we want to have a in-person. I want to meet you guys all in person, especially the ones I haven't met. We'll be inviting you all to our first annual Roots and Culture Music and Arts Festival. It might be a music festival directly for Roots and Culture, or we might just have a what we call like a village in one of these music festivals with an organization called Reconnection. Laura, if you're watching, we got a lot to talk about. Um, I would love to like premiere our docu-series there. At least, an episode or two maybe. And and I said, on this right here, I mentioned regenerative grant program launched, and that's where I was having the idea where we'd start giving money. I hope to do that a lot sooner. Maybe someone can help me start up this nonprofit trust or have one that can even incubate us for now, and we can start taking large donations and start running this grant program and get people jump started. And yeah, guys, this is where we're at, and this whole introduction is to invite you all in to tap in and make this happen with me. I poured my heart and soul into all this. I've cried many times. Like I've been put through the ringer in my life, and my family has been a huge support throughout this whole time. And it's been an incredible journey. So I do invite you to get on the website and check everything out. You can see all of like the goals and bonus goals and how our support helps and all that. It's all on there. Um, we'll be getting to fill out our schedule and get the ball rolling on this so we can start having performers and stuff get on our stage. And yeah, it's a fun time. So that was the presentation. I wanted to get on here and just open the discussion. Have Q&A sesh and see what questions you guys might have and see who wants to tap in and help me get this thing rolling. I probably should check on Facebook, see if there's questions on there too. But I want to open it up here on Zoom to everyone that's present with me. Love seeing all your faces. I'm actually gonna change my view here so I can see who's with us. So I got a few faces. Rich, Crystal, thank you guys. Hey, Cormac. And here, let me see. It's my first time doing this where I like Zoom and live on Facebook at the same time, so it's a lot of fun. How'd I do? Was that all right? Cool. All right. Oh, I got some comments on there. Open the discussion. Hey, I'm talking to myself live. That's pretty crazy. All right, a lot of good comments. Thanks for the support, guys. Cormac, Lucian, Shane, Paige, my family, Sarah. Thanks for watching with us and sharing the love. What do you guys think? Anyone want to speak up? I think uh yeah, I don't know if everyone I think you guys have full control, so we can just open the
Sean,
floor.
can you tell me more about the marketplace idea that you have?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, right now it's like a voluntary action. It's free to join. There's no like monthly subscription or anything for that. I need to, and I will be doing that today. I need to get on and create what they're called vendor plans. So basically what it is, if you have like a product or good or service of any kind, basically what I'm asking is to create like a little markup on your product or service. Whether that's 1 to 50%, maybe you got a digital product or something. I mean, 50% out on any product would be ridiculous. So I'm looking more like 1 to 10% of a markup, and that would be a voluntary markup. So to give us commissions on our side. So if it was like 25 bucks for your product and you marked it up, 10%, 250 would be added to the total cost, and all of that would go directly to our efforts in building this regenerative fund. All of our vendors will actually have their own access to like the back end where they can track all their inventory and payouts and all of that. It will all be automated and accountable and tracked and everything. So all the invoicing will be done. I think all the invoicing is done on our side for the customer end, but you guys would get all the copies and everything. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Just like in a brief thing, it's going to be a voluntary action. Like I said, anybody can join, and I mean it'll be curated. Like I mean, I can't necessarily be like, I don't think I can sell like cannabis products or anything like that just yet. I got to figure all that out. I do have to follow at least some of the ADA guidelines and all that and try not to get taken down or sued or whatever. But I think a lot of us have some incredible products to share, and I hope to get a lot of, like I said, it's very music festival inspired. If you go to a music festival, there's usually what they call like the shakedown street full of vendors and everything. You'll see all kinds of stuff, anywhere from like jewelry to health good product, health products or whatever it might be. And I want it to be the same. I want it to be like this full, like eclectic mix of products, goods, and services. So not just like gardening products and everything, but maybe jewelry or whatever it is, like handcrafted goods. Um, and yeah, everyone's pretty creative, and I wanted to give the opportunity for everyone to have a, you know, this is an opportunity for someone to start without even having to build an online store or presence or anything like that. So, yeah, it's just freely open, voluntary for anyone to join.
So along those lines, well, that's great, but I think it'd be good to have like a map of like your area so you can try to find local things or as close to you
Yeah,
as possible type things. So maybe have a map that you can kind of choose your
yeah,
region, be able to say, hey, here's my address. Find me the closest, source of PNS or something, whatever it is, right?
yeah,
But I mean, be
absolutely.
able to
I
get
didn't mention
close
it in the
away.
oh, sorry, what was that?
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's just that, just that if we can be as, try to source things from as close as we can. Obviously, it's not, we're not there
Absolutely.
yet. But
And that's the
also the
idea.
idea of multiple vendors doing the same thing across the country versus having one big plant on the other side of the country that has to
Yeah.
get shipped and over.
Yeah, so I have some
So,
really creative ideas, and I actually do have something. I didn't list it on the on this presentation, but it's called the Redirectory or RE Directory, Regenerative Entrepreneur Directory. And basically, yeah, so it's just like a map where you can see where all the local farms or, community farms or whatever it might be, local businesses. And even in our area, something that was really inspiring to me, we have something that's called the Little Farm Store. And basically, it's a farm to door delivery service. And I hope to partner with a service like this. So what they do is they take local farmers' goods and directly from the farmer. It's a cooperative association model, private association model actually, and so we can sell like raw milk and all kinds of stuff. But basically, they take the farmer's goods and they take them straight from the farmers to the consumers' doors. And I hope to do the same. I hope that like we can have an option on our marketplace that so when you go to buy a product, um, you know, hopefully you can find, first of all, find in that marketplace a local business or farm that's near you and utilize a local distribution model to get those products and goods. So trying to get it as, closed loop or, circular economy as possible and localized for sure. Like that's the idea. So great point, Rich. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, I just want to say that how excited I am to be a part of this and share my goods and services, music,
Yeah.
and that idea of you needing help editing. I like to do stuff like that, so we should
Yeah, I would
keep it.
love to collaborate. It's not easy. I'm learning as I go. So
Yeah,
appreciate, yeah, and I can't wait to get you guys on the schedule this, upcoming week even hopefully.
yeah, definitely. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's super exciting times. It's glad to finally actually be here. I was just even nervous this morning just present. I've talked to multiple dozens of people and I've gotten a lot of really good feedback, but actually presenting on it and getting all these details out and stuff, just see what everyone thinks. It's pretty nerve-wracking, quite honestly. It's a big, big concept, and I know I can't do it alone. So, and I've always done everything alone. I'm an entrepreneur. It's not necessarily been a solo mission. I have a twin brother, and we've done everything together. We're a band together. I mean, it's just, but we've, in many aspects, have had to take care of our families, and find our pathways on our own. Because I mean, that's how it is for everyone. We're all on our own individual journey, and meeting that holistically is, it's a challenge. And so I hope through all our insights and shared stories and education, we could find better, more connected pathways and hearts to share with our time with. So
Yes.
cool. Got some people saying TikTok is back. Good to know, Kyler. Uh, very cool. Well, yeah, guys, yeah, does anyone got any more questions? Like I said, the platform's open. Like this conversation doesn't need to stop even on here, or, doesn't even need to continue on here. Like we have all our social platforms that we're connected on. I have the online platform, and yeah, this is just getting started. Yeah, and I see Jeremy was saying this best time to plan a regenerative enterprise. Oh, the best time to plan a regenerative enterprise was 20 years ago, and I definitely agree. I started this 7 years ago, and I definitely want to help people get started now. I actually, you say regenerative enterprise. I actually call this a social enterprise, which I'll be talking in my book as well, and generational enterprises, and maybe I should add on there regenerative enterprise. I like that. Just another aspect to share on.
So I provided the link there just above that comment. The
Oh,
seeds
seeds
of
of
Tao.
Tao. Yeah.
It's pronounced Tao with a D.
Oh, Tao. Okay.
That's like Taoism, which is the yin and the yang symbol.
Right.
And so I ran into Joshua Paul Prieto. You will find him on Facebook. Go ahead and friend that guy and
Yeah, we're
get
friends.
involved
He's
with
reached out
him.
before.
Yeah, he's a wonderful person. Very helpful. And so I went ahead and bought into the Seeds of Tao maybe 2 years ago. But I, obviously have a million other things I'm doing. So I kind of have put in some of my seed story on the back burner. But I also recognize that I've been embodying the seed story in reality as opposed to writing it out and then embodying the story.
Yeah.
I've actually been writing the stories by living it out and manifesting, with you guys or with the public, and using my knowledge in agronomy and such forth to try to learn what that story is and let it grow there rather than invent some pie in the sky and then act like that's going to be reality.
Right.
And but the reason I'm pointing this out is because the community that they've done is a very excellent model. The one thing that I don't see in that community is the, how do I put this? The heavy hitter personification affiliation is
Uh,
not there. It's like I don't see Matt Powers floating around over there in the regen bin over at Seeds of Dow. Now he's friends with Joshua, but Matt's not in the Seeds of Dow community.
hmm.
And so what I'm pointing out is there's a large disconnect between the competency hierarchy of the regenerative
Yeah, like that social
world.
model.
Let's just include like that circle involved in the cycle of the world, right?
Right.
That is sort of disconnected by our inability to unify, right? And one thing that I see that's kind of alarming to me is everybody's trying to unify separately.
Right.
How can we unify if we're all separate, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just pointing this out because I see you doing the same thing that they've done, right? But it's not affiliated and it's separate. Well, there's other people that are doing the same sort of thing. And rather than go with that flow and like, okay, I'm just going to be me and I'm going to do my thing and we're going to see how that compares and fits in with everybody else's, I'm trying to point this out because if you could integrate that hierarchical reality that I just painted the picture. Like I've showed you, everybody's kind of doing this. If we can get ahead of that and then integrate that into your idea,
Right. That's the
then
idea.
we're actually finishing up the hard work that everybody else might have said, hey, let's bust this garden and start it. And then they like walked away. And so, but then we show up and we're like, oh yeah, we just put a fence here and a gate there. And it's like,
Yeah.
yep, we're good. And then we unify everybody. And that, whether that's through your platform or mine or theirs, that's the sort of illusion of the ego part, you know?
Yeah, that's interesting points.
It's
And that's a big part of what I wanted to bring into this. I wanted to knock down all the walls and barriers as possible. I mean, I had a hard time even just creating a subscription-based model, for like my work and my insights and stuff. I wanted to invite everybody in to share what they're doing, their platforms. So this platform is, in a way like, and that's why I named it the Gathering Grounds on that page where we'll have the presentations and all that. Is it just a place for us to gather and share everything we're doing in an open and voluntary way, and where we can share value without those walls in front of people and it's going to take a breakdown of ego to offer our services, kind of like what you were saying.
well, remember the ego is not the enemy, it's the
Absolutely not.
friend.
Yeah, it's my best friend.
And I think everyone needs to understand that as we move forward, because if we keep vilifying our ego, we're going to self-sabotage.
Yeah.
The whole point is to train the ego and retrain the ego, right? So that I can rely on the ego instead of fear what the ego may do when I'm not looking and watching and pay attention to it.
Right.
So if I can train my ego on how to behave correctly when I'm not watching, then I can run through the jungle and behave correctly,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, some good points. And actually, I'm glad you're even bringing all this up. And this is why I call it, it's a Q&A, people can ask me questions and everything, but it's an open discussion. Like I need to hear your guys' insights and input and everything like that. This is where the transmutation of what we call ego and we can actually take in, or transfiguration, whatever you want to call it. It gives us an opportunity to grow and not lock ourselves in place. And you guys all inspire me. I didn't create this by myself. Like this is absolutely not me. Like in no way, in no means was this created for me. Obviously I wanted to create an opportunity for me to maybe make some income so I can do something full time at home. I've struggled as a farmer and everything, and it's not. And I have very different circumstances, we all have different circumstances. I couldn't necessarily make that work in my context and circumstances very easily. I strive to get to that point where all I want to do is just grow food for my family and play music for my community and grow as an individual, just like anyone. And yeah, you guys all inspire me. So, this is our platform, our future, right?
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Rick. Nice to see you here, man.
Hey, I
You've
don't.
been here a long time too
Yeah.
in my journey.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for most of it, the first time I ever went to Antioch Urban Growers was the summer of 2015.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That was the first year I started, and I remember you walking in and meeting you actually for the first time. And I actually
Yeah,
worked for your uncle, or I think your uncle doing HVAC work for a little bit.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, one of the family members.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't really have a particular question, right now, but I kind of just wanted to remark on this, this whole thing in your presentation, and
Hmm.
just to kind of give you some feedback and let you know that the effort definitely shows.
Thank you.
And I mean, I'm just like kind of blown away and now like real excited because I didn't realize like how in depth this was. I didn't know how all encompassing you had brought, all these elements in, and like that your presentation, you have guideline or I mean, excuse me, goals
Mhm.
lined out and dates and I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah, and it's my apologies on that. Like I said, I've been in a very highly demanding HVAC business, and honestly, there's a lot of nervousness and ego holding me back from actually sharing this with everyone. I'm like a bit of a perfectionist in ways sometimes. I'm an artist, so I just wanted it to be like just like a fully produced song, mastered song. I wanted this to come out like as well off as I can. And so my listeners, audience, whatever, could grasp what I'm putting out. So I'm glad you got something from it and can see it. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Well,
Thank you
and
for
also I appreciate the like that last minute reminder is what popped up on my phone and
that.
brought me here. So that
I
good
almost
move.
forgot to do that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's like 5 minutes down. I'm like, oh, email.
Yeah, well, it worked at least for
Yeah.
one person.
I got so sucked into my phone with social media, like connecting with everybody, messaging and inviting people. And that's the problem with social media is they just, I, uh, I mean, it's a great tool. I mean, I've connected with you all here because of it, and I want to keep that going. So this is in a way a reciprocal way I can bring that back in and, keep our hearts connected without any potential censorship or ban or whatever. Um,
Hmm.
so, if everything goes down and social media is gone, hopefully we can at least keep this platform. We'll see. I don't really plan for that in our future, but we'll see. I mean, it's showing it's possible.
Yeah. Well, I just one more quick thing. 'Cause I still got the property here north of Kansas City, and with the same, really like similar vision, we got about 4 acres to work with here.
Yeah, I remember you sharing.
Yeah, that's still happening as far as I'm concerned. So, definitely interested moving forward in possible collaborative
Yeah.
endeavor.
Maybe you should have reconnected with Mark and Maggie over at Antioch Urban Growers, and it's a amazing community to tap into and get like minds and everyone involved. So yeah, I think that'd be great. An idea. So I'll be writing about this in my book and blogs and videos, sharing with you all like different ways we can tap in and connect with community. And I think inviting people to our homes is absolutely one of the greatest things we can do to really connect with people. And it's what we see in all of these like other like what we call like blue zone areas and these centurion lifestyles that people experience. They're closely connected with their communities and village, and um, we've all been really disconnected from that in our modern American culture. And I
Mm.
think the family farm is a really great hub, you know, for bringing that back. And food is, it's one of our biggest connecting points. So I think it's our biggest, it's biggest taproot to feed off of in the regenerative economy. So yeah,
Excellent. Well,
man,
thanks, man.
absolutely. Yeah, this has been an incredible experience. So, and I look forward to doing this more. I'll be at least doing like minimally, hopefully a monthly Q&A free to everyone. Like I said, once I get the course established, we'll have similar to like I don't know, many here have experienced Matt Powers' course. Having like a seasonal live course and then having weekly Q&A and open discussion calls and stuff. I really aim to do this on a weekly basis and at least monthly to the public. And yeah, hopefully, and we can even get more speakers and stuff. I know what I know and I have a big heart and I love sharing all of this. But I ultimately I don't want to carry like a monologue and all of this. I love hearing from people and hearing
I'll
everyone's
be
passion.
glad. I'll be glad to serve you and your organization and speak. Uh, and you know, my little niche is bridging the gap between biology and its needs and the chemistry that we need to feed that biology.
Right.
And so agronomy is sort of my little linchpin offering.
I have
And
much to learn from
I
you.
suppose if you would like to, I mean, we could, like, uh, Rick just spoke, right? About his
Yeah,
4
Rick
acres,
Hagan.
right?
Yeah.
Immediately it just dawned on me that, Rick could send me a soil sample and I can tell him exactly what he needs to do with his, you know,
It's exactly what I
but
was hoping with this platform, stuff like that. Yeah.
that requires, it requires quite a bit of competency on my end as far
Yes.
as the effort that it took to get to the ability to be able to do that.
And you can build on that. Yeah.
And so, but but I don't want to extract too much value and keep the secrets.
Yeah.
All I want to do is get enough value I can teach the secrets, right? And as I do that, I'm picking up, a hierarchy of affiliation that will support me because I'm giving them the value that I could have paywalled and kept secret and all that, but I'm not because to me, that's not conducive to this regenerative modality.
But
Yes, we
what,
need to have some value to continue so that we can build a website and do the things to facilitate.
right.
But we can't take off so much that I'm not providing the value that I purport to be,
Yeah. And what we
capable
could do
of.
to help you in your efforts, you could take Rick's soil sample and you could even give that whole breakdown on a live stream on our stage here, virtual stage, and we can generate maybe some donations to help go towards your efforts.
What I'm really kind of interested in is providing an outlet for people in the community that want to know more, right?
Hmm.
I don't want to give all of my wisdom to the swine of the masses. Your pearls will end up in the mud and you've wasted all of your effort
Yeah.
to just give it to everybody. And then what happens then is that your pearls are stained. And then everybody's like, "Oh, that guy don't know shit." Because obviously nobody cares about his pearls, right? Like they're all looking around thinking, "Oh, that's not even worth snooting around and getting that good value out of the mud."
Right.
And so what we really want to do, and you'll see this in the marketplace, people are like, if you offer a product for 50 cents versus $500, the $500 product is often the one that's sold.
Oh yeah.
It's the same product.
Yep.
It's because of the perception of the value, right?
Yeah.
And so if I offer myself for free, the perception of my value is none. But if I offer, at it with a paywall, then I have some ability to show a value, and then that eliminates some of the people that are going to trample my goods.
Absolutely.
And
And
so
oh, go ahead.
by creating a way to, like Rick, if he's part of the community and he's got 4 acres and he wants to understand a little bit more about how to, you know, do that, that's kind of where I want to create a little bit of a content that can show him how to do what it is that I've learned how to do. So all these people can then begin to do these on their own. And so then, like, this knowledge was hidden by an agronomist. And he's got 100 people that he's showing how to do these things, but he's not teaching them how to actually do them. He's just telling them what they want to know. They're
Mhm.
not interested in doing what he does. They want to pay him to do that.
Yeah,
I
especially
got
the
all this
farmer.
other shit I'm doing. I'm trying to be a farmer. I'm not trying to be an agronomist. And so then we get into this, jack of all trades versus being a master situation, right?
Right.
I kind of present the idea that we need to get rid of that dichotomy
Mm.
and we need to become jacks of all trades that are often better than a master of one, right?
Right.
Just having one trade that you master, HVAC, you know, that's really the prerequisites that got you into this other spot where now you know what competency looks like. If you didn't know what competency looks like, you wouldn't be able to know that I'm competent when I'm talking about
Right.
agronomy. And so we use the skills that we pick up from all of those other skills to make new ones.
Yeah.
And so what I'm trying to get at here is that that's where I want to be.
Yeah.
That's where I want to help your community, is bridge this gap from, I don't know what fertilizer is. I don't know what synthetic. I don't know, like, how do I define these? What should I do? All of those questions I can easily answer. Like,
Right.
Rich knows that. Like, we've been working on this, for a couple of years, and we're finally getting somewhere. We just purchased our site last, and so we're going to be working towards getting up and running.
Yeah, I'm super
And I'm
excited about that.
excited to be friends with you because of the Alex Gray connection and all that good energy stuff. That really, to me, that was what sealed the deal as far as a reciprocity and a continuity formation. Like, and I think that's the key here, is if we focus on reciprocity and continuity, communities, they, I
Competency. Yeah.
mean, just by deduction, I've learned that this is what I'm after in my relationships. I want reciprocal, where when I give you $100, you give me $100. I give you 1,000, you give me 1,000. Next thing you know, we've got $1 million and we're working it, right?
Regenerative exponential growth or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah. What was the thing you said? The regenerative enterprise you wanted to include into your terminology, right?
Yeah, I'm writing my book and I have bits and pieces everywhere. And one of the things I'm writing on, especially within regenerative entrepreneurship, is this idea, and this is the model of Roots and Culture, is a social enterprise. And it's something that you know, it's a different model than the typical like I look at a social enterprise similar to like the soil economy, and the center point being the plant, and really we're needing to it's going to take a whole community to feed into this, to experience growth, health, prosperity, and all that, and the whole economy gets to benefit from it, the whole social enterprise. So everyone that's involved will actually benefit from this business. So everyone that's truly involved and feeds into this will experience reciprocity. And yeah, I don't know if that's what you were looking for. I was just kind of briefly mentioning that, and I'll definitely go into more in depth in that, and like in my blogs and my book and stuff. I'm really looking forward to finishing all that. It's been years in the making.
Let me know. We'll get together. We could schedule a Zoom or a live or whatever.
Yeah. Sounds good.
And
Yeah, and I hope to
Rich,
highlight your competency, like these I don't want anyone on here just continuously promoting their stuff for free. Like I want to help individuals develop, or at least be part of, or you have this platform to help contribute to their efforts of growing what they're doing, and not, you know, uh, yeah, not losing out on any growth per se. Just, a lot of people give and give and give, and eventually they just die out. And that's not really what I want. I wanted to
well,
make sure. Yeah.
that's codependency.
Yeah.
Many of us are codependents. I'm a recovering codependent. I valued myself based on my service for others.
Mm.
So rather than take care of me, who is the servicer of others,
Yeah.
who fails to be able to be of any fucking service to anyone when he doesn't take care of himself, then I feel bad because I'm not taking care of people, which is my proclivity to measure my value and self-worth.
Mm.
And it's taken me a long time to separate that identity and look at it and become something else that understands the value of serving others. But I also see that, Taoist dualistic dichotomy that forms, where you lose connection with the self,
Right.
right? And to be able to sit in yourself and be with yourself and ground in your body is
Experience
what
joy.
I'm not good at.
Yeah,
I
it's
escape that by helping others and focusing
yeah.
on you and helping you and do your thing. And
Many of us do that in yeah. Go
I'm
ahead.
easily caught by, and I'm just going to use the word, and I don't mean any negative connotations, is narcissist, right? And so it's kind of a polarity between, and this is with every relationship. There's somebody who is leaning towards codependent habits, and then the other party is leaning towards narcissistic habits. The codependent is attracted to that. I need somebody that needs me, right? And the narcissist is like, I don't have what it is inside to be very giving, but I sure do need somebody to help me. And so there's this exchange, and we got to drop the negative connotation because,
That
and
is
we
what
all
it
have the
is.
proclivity to look in the mirror and
Yeah.
see our image and then admire it.
Yeah.
Now, if we make a habit out of that and it's distracting us from looking at other people's
Then
image
it's in
and
vain.
noticing theirs,
Yeah.
then we've got a problem where we've got a disorder in our social hierarchy, right? Like I'm too busy looking at how wonderful to notice how wonderful you are and then say, hey, hey, here's a little bit of courage. I recognize how wonderful, and then that fails. And so the only reason I'm explaining all this is so everybody can see the dichotomy in their relationships, because this is where we really, I've noticed with agronomy applications, it's the same thing as the dog whisperer.
Mm.
The dog whisperer, he literally, he's like, what's his name? What's his name, Rich? Is it Jose? I can't remember. I can't remember his name.
Martina or I think I know who you're talking about.
But yeah, everybody, I think everybody,
I think
but
Caesar.
he was like, I
Caesar.
don't train Caesar Milan.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Summer. Yeah. So, he's like, I don't train dogs. I train people how to handle and deal with dogs.
I like that.
The dogs know what the hell they're doing, right? It's the people that don't understand the dogs.
Or how to respond.
And
Yeah.
then they don't know how to deal and communicate with them. They don't know what the dog's telling them. They're just like, do this,
Yeah.
jump, fetch. And the dogs just they don't interact. And so there's no real reciprocal connection. And so to me, it's kind of a top down. I can go in there and I can show Rick how to put cobalt and molybdenum to facilitate nitrogen fixation. Okay. But until he understands what nitrogen fixation is going to do for him, it doesn't matter. Right. And so, but that's just on the lowest level. But okay. So let's say he does and he, figures out how to fix his own nitrogen. He isn't going to do that every year and implement that unless he has a reason to.
Mm.
And that reason is a higher epi stratosphere than down there on the ground where you're learning those things.
Right.
So there's sort of an integration that takes place from the spirit to the mind to the body, right? And I think a lot of what our paradigm shift is reversing that sort of
Yeah.
concept in our mind. We're always thinking from earth, corporeal material, to mind to spirit, because we're the upward pointing triangle
Yeah, and
seeking
a lot
God.
of that's been bred through work culture, It's like we work so many hours, we get this and do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, but I mean, ultimately, it is the hierarchy
Hmm.
of the bottom three chakras
Yeah.
reaching towards love, right?
Mm.
And what I'm saying, what we're missing down here is that upper three that are pointing down into that love.
Right.
And that's where we've got to sort of say, okay, well, I can go in and fix the garden. But if I fix the garden, they're just going to tear the damn thing up again. They're going to trample it like a bunch of pigs and just destroy it, right? So until I can get the demons out of the pigs, right?
Yeah.
Will the pigs recognize that maybe we shouldn't tear the garden up? You see? And so that sort of analogy is like pigs are the smartest, but the way they behave, they are irreverent to a lot of the things that are in their environment. And so we have, as stewards, that's what I'm saying. Like, we have to understand that you can't just feed your pearls to the swine, that you've got to put them in the right place at the right time. Right.
Right.
And the way that we kind of work that field isn't what I thought it was. Right. I thought it was the hard work and the hoe the row and put down the cobalt and do but it's not. It's
Kind of like a
understanding,
humbling experience to understand. Yeah.
that holistic understanding of what you're doing and why you're doing it, and integrating it with the self, where you're in yourself. You're able to feel, these subtle energies in your own body, and you're not trying to escape them. Right. And that's part of the spirit down and the body up experience. It's all inner work.
Yeah.
And we're thinking that the outer work is where the transcendence is. Yes, we need to see the world green up. Yes, we want to do this and that with the environment. But these are byproducts of what goes on inside of our beings.
Love that.
And so I just want to stress that, because ultimately that will be the epicenter force of magnetic attraction to all communities that converge into the regenerative modality. Like, this is really a physical wave. Like in physics, the regenerative modality is literally like a wave of negentropy. It's the opposing force of entropy.
Yeah.
And the way that it manifests in the universe is through those that are aware of its field and its force. So just by being aware of the regenerative modality, we're becoming responsible to it.
Right.
Like, now Bucko.
That's a
Like,
really good point.
you're going to be totally fighting your conscience, or you're going to have to sear it in order to get away from this new thing that you now know.
Yeah, and if you don't,
It's
you're
the
just
regenerative
continuing
modality.
you keep in that degenerative cycle if you keep fighting it.
And so that force, that life force of what it really is when you have entropy waves in the universe, you've got order dissipating into chaos, right? But if awareness is introduced to the field, you can see the patterns in the waves of chaos. Pattern recognition, which we all know from permaculture, is very important.
Yep.
Pattern recognition is the ability to form order from chaos. That literally defeats entropy from its fundamental foundation. Entropy is always constant. Everything is headed towards chaos, except for the things that are aware of it and can the patterns and
bring more
create
love
order out of chaos.
Yep.
And it's life itself.
That's life, yeah.
This ability is literally impregnated into living things.
Yep.
So it's in our DNA to be regenerative.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
And so that's that force that we've got to, if we harness, or not really harness, I should say, facilitate, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we facilitate that, then the communities will thrive, because that's where life feeds on that modality, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, that was a really good segment there. I mean, that's, I'll be getting into some of these esoteric, and they say esoteric, and that's just because it's out of people's awareness, really, for the most part, like you were kind of mentioning. And I definitely plan on featuring a lot of what you're saying in their book, because yes, it comes down to, once you're aware of, like you're saying, these regenerative modalities, it starts to build, your awareness starts to tune you into that, and you have to be responsible for it, or otherwise it's going to just keep you in this downgrading spiral of, and it's depressing. And I've been in there for a long time, trying to find my way back into, finding more and more love and more light and beauty in all this world, experiencing more joy and gratitude, all those feelings, they help you stay, in that, attunement or whatever you will. And yeah, this is an invitation to all, for us to all step into this and find our own pathways to our fullest self-expression and these regenerative pathways. And this is what we're aiming for here with Roots and Culture to help people on their journey and onward into our regenerative future. Because that's what's going to shape the regenerative economy. We can't just like call it that and still be like, experiencing the
You're just
same.
repackaging the same
Yeah,
old
exactly. We're not
extractive
going to
business.
greenwash this shit. Like, this is real. Like, we got to really do it. And it's an individual journey. And yeah, it's very well, beautifully and well said. Yeah, well said.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I look
Yeah, I
forward to
just
more.
want to bring everybody to that understanding where,
Yeah.
it's not all about the efforts on the bottom. It's
Right.
also about that contemplation in your mind.
Yeah.
And especially since it's wintertime and we can't get out there and we can't work,
Great time to reflect.
this
Yeah.
is where we need to be.
And many of us, especially everyone here, like, I mean, there has definitely been some sort of calling or something bringing us to that light. And it's when you're down there in the depths of it all and staring at the light, it can be depressing and very like discouraging even sometimes, especially when you see people that are having success. And ultimately, like, nature is always calling us to its abundance and its celebration, And you can see this in like the wilderness, for instance. And I like to call wilderness like sick land, That's kind of like an indigenous way of looking at things. Typically, when there's high disturbance or, when the woodlands are like left alone in certain like disturbed areas, you'll find things like brambles and such like that. And it's very hard to get into and it's overgrowth and it's hard to get into. It's very discouraging. You're like on the outside of it, but you can see the beauty in the forest. And but what's funny about it is right there on the edge, you can see the bramble is inviting you back into this celebration of life and the beauty that it beholds because you get to harvest the berries and like while you approach it, like there's always something calling you into this reciprocal and regenerative way of being. And it's going to take time and it takes effort and it's not easy. But, imagine if you had a whole community approaching this forest of brambles and overgrowth, how fast it can transition into a productive ecosystem that we can go to with our children and continue to harvest from in an honorable way. And yeah, it just like I said, it's about time for us all. The calling is here. I mean, I see it in all of us here. And yeah, I'm so excited. Keep these conversations going. And I probably shouldn't keep going on too much longer. We're about an hour and a half in. Um, so I did want to make sure there was anyone else that had any questions before we get off here or um any final statements. Even in regards to what Jeremy was saying, I mean, the conversation, it's like I said, it's an open discussion. A lot of really great points were brought up, and uh, just so excited and happy to be here, guys. So, um, how we feeling?
Absolutely.
Good. All right. All right, cool. Well, I will have this recording, if anyone wants to, I'm gonna put it up on YouTube. It'll be my second video on YouTube. I'm finally just getting established with all of it. I'll be posting, continue to
Make
update and
sure
network
make
with.
sure they see me smoking a joint.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, do you, man? I mean, it's like, it's funny. I've just quit smoking cannabis for the first time since I was 15. So, yeah, I'll celebrate with
I've
you.
done that about 5 or 6 different times for
Yeah.
about a
I'm
year. Yeah.
doing it for my health reasons. Yeah, it's just trying it out. So,
Excellent.
I absolutely have no
Excellent.
issues with smoking cannabis on camera if anyone. But it's yeah, like I said, it's an open
Well,
discussion. So,
I have a broken spine and it's really bothering me today because I stayed up talking to Rich on the phone last night and
feeling that
it
inflammation
was
coming
about three
through.
o'clock in the morning and I literally just woke up. So,
Yeah.
and I didn't even know you were doing this. I literally looked at the clock and it said 1:58 as I was looking at your post.
Oh, funny. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're Eastern. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I was just like, man, I'm just gonna wake up. I'm gonna jump into this Zoom call and I'm
So
gonna
glad
go
you
for it.
came.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm glad I did. It's
Yeah.
been wonderful.
Thank you all for being here. It's been an
Appreciate
absolute
it.
pleasure, and the nerves are gone. So I
Thank
feel,
you.
so
Time to
You're
start
good.
another call now,
yeah, exactly. I'm gonna do the next one. Will be about my book. We'll go into more depth about it. Um, I'm excited to get that finally
In the
written.
meantime, I'd like to actually initiate another call. Um, if anybody in here is interested, because, we were talking about it last night. I get the feedback from my audience, how
Mm.
they understand the complexity of what it is I'm trying to explain. And I'm trying to get with Rich and a couple other alumni from that. I'm really trying to unify alumni from that. I've offered free agronomy. Uh, in other words, if you are a part of Matt Powers alumni, I offer free soil essay interpretations.
Cool.
That's you can ask several of the students. Rich, I've done, and I'll take your information, put it into my system, and then regurgitate it to you in a way
Mm.
where I can start. I can see that you're missing a prerequisite to understand that, and I can get you there, and then I get you here. And
And
so
that's
I'm really trying to do a
Eden's
kind of
Gate.
a one-on-one.
Is that what's called Eden's Gate soil
Yeah. And Eden's Gate Soil Company will
company?
be the name of the company, and edensgatesoil.com is going to be the website address.
Yeah, I look
So
forward
here,
to
maybe
promoting it.
within the next,
Get you on the.
30 days,
I'll
we'll be
get you
up
on
and
the
running. But
redirectory.
in the meantime, I'd like anybody here that is interested in learning some of this stuff, as well as helping me refine some of my skills in my presentation. Uh, let's get with me on Facebook and I'll schedule a Zoom call with Rich and we'll throw one up and we can start to begin to, in other words, I can teach you guys things you don't know that you want to know for free. And I can get a little value out of
Yeah,
the
feedback.
exchangement.
Yeah.
And you guys can kind of tell me, hey, Jeremy, when you present it this way, I don't, so now you guys know that that's what I'm looking for. I can get a better feedback than if I was just watching my own audience.
Yeah. Yeah, we need less yes men in our life, right? That's throughout the whole process. I've got to experience that. I mean, I got a lot of encouragement, but I appreciate any critical feedback from all of you guys. And like I said, we'll have more discussions like this, and I'm always open to feedback in any way. And like I said, I'll have this recording on YouTube if you guys wanted to share or watch again or anything like that. I don't know if I mentioned it, but like all of our performances and workshops and everything will be ongoing, like available on YouTube. Every performance that goes live on our virtual stage will be available on YouTube, and we'll always have a link and instructions on how to donate to each speaker and performer. So it can be like creating like what I call a perennial income. So that we can just have ongoing support feeding back into our lives. And yeah, so I guess I'm gonna stop the recording now, and we're right about an hour and a half, which I think is a really good mark. So yeah, thanks for it's celebration. Yeah, balloons
All
there.
right.
Yeah,
Thanks.
great to have you
Thank you.
guys.